We're still talking about life cycles in science, but today we're going to focus on a frog's life cycle. Because is a frog the same as like a bird?
No.
Or as the lynx from yesterday?
No.
No, theirs are a little different. So the frog life cycle, is everybody on page 104?
Yep.
A frog is sitting beside a pond, croaking loudly. How did it get there? How has it changed? As we read these two pages, we're going to circle words that name stages in the frog's life cycle. What are we going to do?
Circle words that name
Stages.
in the frog life cycle.
Okay. Early in the spring, let me get my writing tool ready here. All right. Early in the spring, many frogs wake from hibernation and begin, bless you, to croak. They are looking for mates. Before long, the pond's water is filled with eggs. Look closely at the photo of a clump of frog eggs. Do you see that picture?
Yeah.
Point to it.
I am not.
Okay. You will see tiny black specks. One day, each speck will grow into a frog as big and green as the one on this page. As a frog develops, its entire appearance changes. Metamorphosis. What was that word?
Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis is a change in the body form of an animal during its life cycle. So, going from here to here, is that metamorphosis? Does it look the same or is it changing?
Changing.
What about from here to here?
Changing.
Is that metamorphosis? What about from here to here?
Changing.
And then here to here?
Changing.
So the whole thing is metamorphosis. Now, we are supposed to circle the words that name the stages in the frog's life cycle. What did it say first? Egg mass, right? So let's actually do it over here. Do I have mine ready?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Okay, so what's the first stage?
Egg mass.
Then what does it change to?
Tadpole.
And then what?
An adult frog.
Adult frog. It keeps going around. It's still different stages of the tadpole there. Okay. Do you see the picture of the frog here?
Yeah.
Do you see the caption?
Mm-hmm.
Let's read that caption. The leopard frog goes through a series of changes after it hatches as a tadpole. Now, do you think we have these frogs around here?
No.
No. What do we have around here?
Toad.
We have toads, right? Or bullfrogs. Let's look over at the life cycle. What do they start out as?
Egg mass.
Egg mass. Let's read that about egg mass. Frog eggs are found all stuck together. They look like a cloud of eggs. They are usually in the water of a pond or marsh. Think it would feel slimy? It looks like it might feel slimy.
Is marsh like a miniature?
Kind of, yeah. Then to the tadpole stage. A tadpole is an immature frog that must live in the water. It hatches from an egg. It has gills and a long tail. It breathes and swims like a fish. It looks very different from its parents. Looks nothing like what it's going to become, does it?
No.
Let's go to that next stage as a tadpole. After about 5 weeks, the tadpole starts to change. Tiny buds beside the tadpole's tail grow into little hind legs. Do you see the little hind legs there?
Yeah.
Kind of ugly. Okay, the next stage, it's still a tadpole. Says still a tadpole. This young frog has 4 legs. Its tail will soon disappear. Its lungs are almost completely developed. Starting to look a little more like a frog, isn't it?
Except it only looks like he has 3 legs.
Yeah, based on how that picture is.
But once he gets rid of his tail, he looks like an actual.
Exactly. Still looks a little bizarre with a tail.
Yeah.
An adult frog is the last stage in the life cycle, right? This frog has fully developed legs and lungs. There are no gills and no tail. It's an adult. So how is the life cycle of a frog different from the life cycle of an ostrich? Remember we talked about the ostrich yesterday? If you don't remember, could you go back? They want to know how it's different, not what's the same, what's different. We have an odd number, don't we? You 3 talk, you 2 talk, you 2 talk. You and your partner or group talk about how the life cycle of a frog is different from the life cycle of an ostrich. I'm going to give you 90 seconds. Go.
So, the thing that's different when they're born, that frogs are in a mass, and like their gills and nose.
Class,
Yes.
I'm going to interrupt you for just a minute. We're talking about their life cycles, not about what's different about them, but what's different about their life cycles. When you compare the life cycle of a frog to that of an ostrich, how is that different? Okay, go ahead.
Can I say this just this one? That the ostrich doesn't have as many stages as a frog.
And then it just gets bigger. It doesn't like grow.
Okay, finish up your thoughts.
Because ostriches are like a lot bigger
All right, I'm going to look back at the ostrich. So it goes from an egg to the ostrich chick. Now, to me, it doesn't look exactly like an adult ostrich, but similar, right? Just a smaller, younger version of that bird. I don't know, that's kind of my thinking. And then when I think of a frog, goes from the egg to the tadpole. Now, does the tadpole look like a miniature version of an adult frog?
No.
No. They're completely different looking, aren't they? What were some of the things that you talked about that are based only on the life cycle? Raylyn, nice and loud. Okay,
Frog eggs are like super small.
makes sense, right? Because frogs are much smaller than ostriches. What did you and your partner talk about, Lucas?
That a frog life cycle, like they have like more life to like be like small.
So kind of more stages to it. I mean, there's still the three main stages, like the ostrich one, but this is kind of broken down into more. Connor,
I said that the frog life cycle has more stages than ostrich.
you're right. There's not more stages necessarily, because there's the egg mass, the tadpole, and the adult frog, which are just those three stages. But one of those stages has a lot more changes in it than the ostrich stage does, doesn't it? Because the ostrich goes from this to this and is still looking like an ostrich, it's just growing taller. Whereas the frog makes lots of changes between being a tadpole and an actual adult frog. Haley?
I was just looking at it. This has the three main ones. And the other two have the picture of them, like giving birth again.
Here?
Yeah, like they're before.
Right, it has that life cycle starting over. Yep, because it keeps going around and around. Amy?
That the frog eggs mush like all together,
Okay.
and the ostrich eggs are kind of together. but
More split apart, separated. All right, I want you to write how the life cycle of a frog is different from the life cycle of an ostrich based on all the conversations that we just had. Write down how they're different. You can just write one of the ways. We talked about a lot of things. So just write one of the ways that they are different. Okay, I think, is everybody finished? Aim, are you almost done? Okay. So how about tomorrow we move on to the insect life cycles? Go ahead and close that workbook.